Some sadness does not leave the way people tell us it should. It does not disappear because time passed. It does not become false because you smiled again. It does not vanish because you went back to work, answered messages, paid the bills, and laughed at dinner like a functioning person. Some sadness learns your schedule. It sits quietly while you are busy. It waits while you are useful. It stands in the corner while you do what must be done. Then, suddenly, it appears. At the kitchen sink, while the water is running. In the car, when a song comes on. In a grocery aisle, when you reach for something they used to buy. In the middle of a conversation, where everyone else is laughing, and for 1 second, you feel very far away. A name. A smell. A chair no one sits in anymore. A holiday that used to feel different. A phone call you can no longer make. The sadness does not arrive like an explosion. It arrives like a thin, transparent layer pulled over the world. Everything is still there. The lights, the voices, the room, the ordinary life. But something now stands between you and happiness. This is the part positive thinking often fails to understand. There are moments when look on the bright side does not feel like wisdom. It feels like someone is trying to clean a wound before they have even looked at it. A person who has lost someone does not need to be rushed into brightness. A person facing illness, divorce, betrayal, bankruptcy, or a permanent change in life does not need to be told that everything is secretly wonderful. Sometimes it is not wonderful. Sometimes it is terrible. And saying that out loud is not weakness. It is contact with reality. We live in a world that wants quick emotional solutions. Feel better, move on, heal faster, be grateful, reframe it, find the lesson, turn pain into productivity. But some pain refuses to become useful on command. Some sadness must be allowed to exist before it can soften. Think about someone who lost a parent and returned to work 2 weeks later. Everyone says, "You are so strong," and maybe they are. But strength can become a costume. They answer emails, they sit in meetings, they smile at the right moments. But when they go home, the silence is waiting by the door. Or think about someone who failed at something that mattered. A business, a marriage, a dream, a version of life they quietly believed would save them. People tell them to move on, they try. But the failure follows them into ordinary moments, not because they are weak, but because a part of their identity was buried there. When we deny sadness, we do not become happier. We become divided. One part of us performs strength. Another part remains alone with the truth. Then sadness goes underground. It becomes tiredness, irritation, distance, numbness, a strange inability to enjoy things that should feel good. A person may say, "I do not know what is wrong with me." But maybe nothing is wrong with them. Maybe something sad happened, and they were never allowed to be sad fully. There is a difference between living in sadness and making room for sadness. Living in sadness means it becomes the whole house. Every window is covered. Every room belongs to it. You cannot imagine tomorrow. You cannot feel anything except loss. In that place, a person may need help, support, therapy, community, time, and protection. Making room for sadness is different. It means we stop pretending sadness is a stranger every time it knocks. We say, "Yes, you are here too." Not because we want it, not because we worship it, because fighting its existence every day can take more energy than admitting the truth. A person who has lost someone may never laugh the same way again. But that does not mean laughter is gone. It means laughter now lives beside memory. A person who has failed deeply may never feel innocent in the same way again. But that does not mean they cannot begin again. It means beginning now includes knowledge. A person who has been betrayed may never trust with the same blind openness. But that does not mean love is impossible. It means love must now pass through honesty. This is why happiness cannot mean the absence of sadness. If happiness requires sadness to disappear, then happiness becomes impossible for anyone who has truly lived. Because to live is to lose. To love is to risk grief. To hope is to risk disappointment. To attach yourself to anything in this world is to know, somewhere inside, that one day it may change, leave, break, or die. So maybe mature happiness is not clean. Maybe it carries shadows. Maybe it is the kind of happiness that can sit at the same table as sadness without pretending the chair is empty. You can wash dishes after a good evening and suddenly remember someone who is gone. You can smile at a child and feel both joy and fear. You can succeed at something and still think of the years you lost before reaching it. You can sit with friends and feel grateful, while also feeling the quiet ache of what life cost you. This does not ruin the moment. It makes the moment human. We often use the word "but" as if suffering cancels life. I am alive, but I am grieving. I am loved, but I am sad. I am trying, but I am wounded. But maybe "and" is more honest. I am alive and I am grieving. I am loved and I am sad. I am trying and I am wounded. The "and" allows a whole human being to exist. Not perfect, not healed on schedule, not pretending, whole. This does not mean sadness should take the throne. There is a danger in making pain your entire identity. There is a danger in refusing every small light because darkness feels more familiar. Healing does ask something from us, but healing does not begin by insulting the part of you that hurts. Maybe peace begins when you stop demanding that life return you to the version of yourself who had not yet been wounded. That person is gone, but you are still here, not untouched. Still here. You can carry sadness and still make breakfast. You can carry sadness and still answer a friend. You can carry sadness and still dance badly in the kitchen. You can carry sadness and still become gentle, useful, deep, and real. Happiness does not need to be a room where sadness is banned. Maybe happiness is learning to live in a house where sadness has a chair, but not the throne. Please put in the comments. What sadness have you had to learn to live beside?